He could possibly be a big storyline here today. And McAfee on the fake. He's got room to run. He's got the first down.
Pat McAfee was a jack of all trades. He wasn't just the most successful punter ever, he was also a kickoff master. And if a return man found a lane from McAfee's kicks, he still had to worry about being laid out by the kicker. In his time in the league, McAfee broke several records, both in kicking and in big hits. There are several reasons why you may already know Pat McAfee. But before he was making NFL history, he set a college record for an entire state. But he would have never accomplished any of this if it had not been for some illegal activity. McAfee grew up in a suburb of Pittsburgh you probably haven't heard of, Plum, Pennsylvania, where he had a blue-collar upbringing. His dad was a truck driver and warehouse worker, and his mom was a secretary. McAfee was always a gifted athlete, playing soccer, volleyball, and football at Plum High School. By his sophomore year, he was a national punt, pass, and kick champion. And by his senior year, he got a scholarship to Kent State. But then came another opportunity.
I got a call like a month before signing day that there was a kicking camp happening down in Miami, Florida by a guy named Mike McCabe, 101 kicking. I was in physics class when the call happened.
This was an exciting chance for McAfee, as it was only offered to those with scholarships. But the whole thing was going to cost him $1,500, and it was happening in about a week. His parents were extremely supportive, but to come up with that kind of money in such a short time?
Dad, I think, told me to actually go myself. Like, okay, I already have a scholarship to Kent State.
McAfee understood the money wouldn't come from his parents, so he decided to get it himself. Another skill of his? He was a great poker player. He found out about an illegal poker game happening in the basement of an Italian restaurant in town. McAfee borrowed $100 from a friend to buy into the game and turned that into $1,400. His dad gave him the remaining $100, and he was soon off to Miami to participate in the national field goal competition. There, starting at 25 yards out, he made 9 consecutive field goals while moving out 5 yards each time, and finally making a 65-yarder to win the contest. The very next morning, he was offered a scholarship to West Virginia. McAfee was an excellent kicker for the Mountaineers as a freshman, and by his sophomore year, he had also taken over punting duties. But that didn't affect his kicking game. Both as a sophomore and a junior, he led the conference in extra points made. While his sophomore year, he also led all D1 kickers in that category. He was always making at least 68% of his field goals, and as a senior, he made 85%. After those 4 years at West Virginia, McAfee became second in school history for punting average, second in field goals made, the all-time leader in extra points made, and with 384 total points scored, he became the school's leading scorer. All thanks to that illegal poker game. His next stop would be Indiana, as the Indianapolis Colts drafted him in the 7th round of the 2009 draft. Offense wins games, defense wins championships. But Pat McAfee's career would show you why special teams puts them in position to be great. He'd have the most impact a punter has ever had, earning both style points and breaking a professional record along the way. McAfee initially joined West Virginia as a kicker, then transitioned to a hybrid kicker-punter, and now the Colts wanted him to transition once again. They wanted to preserve the health of their Hall of Fame kicker, a 37-year-old Adam Vinatieri, so they elected to go with a 2-kicker model.
Stover can still kick in the NFL, and he can make field goals. And if we had a punter that was a kickoff guy, it'd be easy.
Interestingly, Vinatieri got injured that year, so the Colts brought in 41-year-old Matt Stover. McAfee was now the punter and the kickoff specialist his rookie year. Most people leave the room for more snacks when their team is punting. But if your team was the Colts, you stayed to watch the legendary kicks and antics of Patrick Justin Boomstick McAfee. Punting was a science as well as an art to him. Pinned back deep, McAfee knew the science. Boot the ball as hard as possible, like here when he made his career long punt for 74 yards, with the appropriate celebration. The artist golfer in him also knew that some situations didn't require pure power. He'd take out the 9-iron and expertly land the punt inside the opponent's 5-yard line, giving them a long field to work with, and show off the golf swing afterwards. The farther back he could pin them, the better. So why not pin them as far back as possible, like all the way to the 1-yard line? That is called complementary football. Indy's defense loved their punter. The coffin corner punt is a favorite to inconvenience offenses. McAfee's backspin was essentially a coffin for the opposing team.
McAfee says coffin corner is the corner of the end zone between the 10-yard line and the goal line. Make it happen. Right there. Perfect.
I want to punch your footballs.
32.8% of his punts were downed inside the 20 his rookie year, while his career average was 33.6. If you don't think special teams matters, think about this. Your offense stalls out and has to punt multiple times a season. Every third time you punt, your defense gets to face the opposing offense starting inside their own 20. That's a big advantage if you were Indy. But power matters too, and McAfee had the biggest boomstick of a leg the league had ever seen. He finished his career with a net punting average of 41.1 yards, an NFL record which still stands today. Though McAfee was a hell of a punter, he wasn't just breaking records in that arena alone. No, he took on new responsibilities in Indy, which he would dominate as well. Was the record breaker with his running skills? He did have that rush on fourth down, speeding down the field for 18 yards. Yes, on one career attempt, he had 18 yards, averaging 18 yards a carry. And though the highest career yards per carry by a running back is 5.4 by Jamal Charles, this doesn't quite qualify. Tom Brady's career yards per pass attempt is 7.4. Patrick Mahomes's is 7.8. Pat McAfee's is more than those two combined at 17.5.
McAfee rolling out, looking to throw, and he does complete to the tight end. It is Eric Swope inside the 10-yard line.
2 pass attempts, 1 completion for 35 yards also doesn't qualify him for any passing record, even though his celebration would make you think it did. No, his other record came courtesy of his kickoff duties. As great a punter as he was maybe just as good when it came to kickoffs, whether they were kicking them deep or were onside kicks.
6 AFC players with at least 100 receptions since the beginning of last season as they tried onside kick.
How about that? There have only been 2 successful onside kicks in the NFL this season, and the Colts have them both.
That was Week 4 of the 2014 season when McAfee surprised everyone. But this was nothing compared to what happened in Week 6 against the Texans.
Onside kick try. McAfee recovers his own kick. They're the only team in the league this year to successfully get an onside kick recovery, and they've now got 3 on the year. The only team in the league with 1.
Waiting until the ball traveled 10 yards and then recovering your own onside kick? You've never seen anyone do that before. And you'll never see it again because the No Fun League stopped allowing surprise onside kicks, partially because of this man right here. Besides these amazing plays, when the Colts needed McAfee to kick off deep, he did so in relentless fashion. Kickoffs are tricky, and they can be dangerous, so most teams prefer the opposing players don't even get a chance to return the ball. McAfee heard that and said, "You got it." He regularly sent kickoffs into the end zone, making the kicks unreturnable, and became known as the Touchback King. In fact, in 2015, 87% of McAfee's kickoffs were touchbacks, another NFL record. But he wasn't done yet. There was another record, a vicious one, where McAfee would have to break some bones along the way. Your average NFL punter is usually slender. Andy Lee, 6'1", 180 pounds. Brian Anger, 6'3", 202 pounds. Chris Cluey, 6'4", 216 pounds. But Pat McAfee was built more like a linebacker at 6'1", 233 pounds. And once he punted the ball away, he played like a linebacker too. Usually, after a team has punted or kicked off, there are only 10 players trying to tackle the returner. The kicker is not usually looking for contact. They may only get in the way if absolutely necessary. But the Colts always had 11 tacklers, and the hardest hitting one might have been the guy kicking the ball. Just ask Trendon Holiday.
Holiday this time, after that fumble on the road to atonement, and McAfee bangs him out of bounds.
So did he get his nickname the Boomstick because of his kicks or because of his hits? What a benefit for the Colts to know that even if a returner found a lane, McAfee made sure they found the turf. He never shied away from contact, as is evident by the fact that he has the 3rd most career tackles for a punter in NFL history. The record for most single-season tackles by a punter is 7, held by McAfee in the 2011 season. The guy just loved contact. That's probably why he dipped his toes into the WWE after his career.
Austin Theory not sure what to do. Holy moly, look at the agility.
He just leaped to the top rope. You gotta be kidding me.
That was sick.
For the brand.
Pat's physical nature, his charisma, and his one-of-a-kind personality made him perfect for the WWE, not to mention ideal for commentating and being a sports analyst.
Pat McAfee, your thoughts?
Oh, I can fix overtime. You go to a kicker duel, just like Alexander Hamilton did back in the day. You bring out the two kickers in their holders.
He's non-stop entertainment. That's why he also did stand-up, got involved with Barstool Sports, and most importantly, the thing everyone knows him for now, the Pat McAfee Show. The guy has allowed everyone to experience his hilarious personality, giving you his take on all the latest sports news. He's one of the most recognizable faces on ESPN today. And to think, we were almost deprived of this enigma, the celebrations, this amazing career, if not for the illegal poker game in Plum, Pennsylvania that one night in 2005. Thanks for watching. If you liked our video, be sure to subscribe and check out our other videos on the screen.